Hey guys, welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the Daily Show where we give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us, as always, is John Campia.
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you from right here at the Collider Video Studios here in Burbank, California. And come over here. I have something for you to clean.
Also here, John Schnepp.
That's from a previous conversation. I'm tired of Arnold. He's got to be
Conan.
He's got to be Conan. He's got to get off that throne and fight some people as the old Conan from
also
34
here,
years ago.
Mark Ellis.
Look, whatever happens to maids today, it cannot be as bad as what just happened to poor Poe the panda. Out of nowhere, there was something really bad that
And
happened.
that young innocent girl in the 50 Shades of Black poster.
She's so innocent.
Ashley was just doing bad things.
Bad things.
All right. Hey, folks, listen. Sometimes, there's a day that comes by. I actually like these kind of days when there's really nothing in the world of movie news that dropped. So this is a good chance for us to get caught up a little bit on our mailbag. So all of today is going to be taking your questions. Now, we're going to take mailbag questions most of the show. And then at the end of the show, as we normally do, we're going to save a little bit of time to take your live Twitter questions. Don't send them in yet because they're going to be gone by the time we get to them. So we'll let you know when to start sending them in. So Ashley, what is our first topic today?
First question comes from Christian Miller, and they write, do you think Disney/Lucasfilm will ever make an anthology set in the prequel era? Thanks, love the show. Well,
I mean, a prequel can mean a lot. By prequel, do you mean Old Republic? But I'm going to assume you mean in the era of Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith. Look, there are two different answers. There are two separate answers to that, but they're both the same. No, I don't want them to do it. But no, I don't think they're going to do it. I think you saw in The Force Awakens a decided, direct effort to not really reference prequel era stuff. I mean, that was basically the thing. A lot of references to the original trilogy and things like that, but really not a lot. I think, look, the prequels are canon. That era is canon. It absolutely is. But I think for a while, at least a little while, you're going to see them want to stay away from making direct references or have another movie in that time period. So honestly, me personally, I think the answer to that question is no. What do you think, Mark?
They referenced the prequels in the first line of The Force Awakens.
That's right, they did.
And then
this will begin to make things right.
And then they also did the Clone Trooper line. But look, other than that, I don't think you're going to see one if you're going as strict as, okay, this is from the first time we met 8-year-old Anakin to when Anakin becomes Darth Vader. I don't think you're going to see anything in that time frame. Immediately after Anakin becomes Darth Vader, and you could do like the novelization or the film version of the novel Lords of the Sith, something on that order,
right?
Or a younger but not as young as prequel era Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think that could be an interesting film as well. So I think that they will venture even before Rogue One, even before that time period, because you still have about 20, 25 years to play with after the prequels technically ended. I think they'll go back to that time at some point, and they kind of have to, because it's the era that Han Solo was coming up in. It's a little bit after the prequels, but it's still that time period in between the end of Revenge of the Sith and before even Rogue One starts. I think you'll see more of those kind of movies.
See, I agree with you completely. There's a big gaping hole right there. There's a big gaping
That's what she said.
There's a big gaping time period there between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope that I would not consider prequel era that you could do. There's a lot of stuff you could tell in there. I think you're absolutely right about that. Schnepp,
I think they've already announced two of them. They've got Han Solo and they've got Boba Fett, and both of those happen in between Star Wars, the prequels, and The New Hope. Also, I mean, it's not called an anthology. Get your stuff right. It's Star Wars story. A Star Wars story.
I've got to believe they're going to change it back to an anthology.
It's a very special Star Wars story.
Anthology sounds like a record collection to me. I think it's a cooler name than Star Wars story. When I hear anthology, I start thinking about like Todd Rundgren's greatest hits.
Ellis, you have to have gone to college and studied, how to get smart to use the word anthology.
Did you just say you have to go to school and study how to get smart?
How to get smart.
Was that your major?
That's exactly what I said. How to get
Were you
smart.
like a TA in that class?
I was not even a TA. I was they let me sit in the back.
Or were you getting high and watching the show?
I wore a thing, like a weird kind of white cap, and was facing the wall most of the time.
That doesn't sound good either.
I was proud of that. Anthology is just the right terminology. A Star Wars story is like what you're reading to a kid at bedtime.
Yeah.
I can't get over it.
We want to know more about the meetings you attended.
Hey, look, these meetings are high-end, high-grade meetings. And I'm not going to get into any more of it.
Yeah.
I want to see KOTOR. That's what I stand by that.
All right, what's
All right.
next?
Emil Johansson writes,
KOTOR.
do you think a future Batman film could take place before Man of Steel? You wouldn't need to care about questions like where was Superman, etc. Plus, Ben Affleck being an older Batman that has lost a Robin. There could be stories in the past worth exploring. Thanks.
I don't think you're wrong about that, but here's the thing. Any stories that you could tell from that era, you could tell after the events of Man of Steel. You could tell after the events of Batman versus Superman. You can. Like, look at Daredevil and look at Jessica Jones. Those movies both happen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, technically. And although there's a few vague lines about the battle or the big green one, or there's some few vague references, ultimately the events of Avengers and all that kind of stuff really have no impact on it. So they can just still happen in Hell's Kitchen with local gangsters and local mobsters, and they can just happen in local villains. They can just happen there, even though it takes place after all the events of Avengers and Age of Ultron and all that kind of stuff. There's no reason that if you got some interesting Batman stories to tell, that you can't still tell them even post Man of Steel, because we've already seen it happen in, like I said before, the aforementioned Daredevil, Jessica Jones. We've seen it happen. Just drop a couple of one-liners about, well, there was the big fight, and you drop a couple one-liners, but ultimately any of those stories you could tell pre-Man of Steel, you can tell now and not have any of the problems. So anyway, that's the way I see it. Schnepp, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to probably, when they do the Batman, they might go a couple years before the Man of Steel, like before Superman showed up. That would make sense because you'd be able to set Batman up a little bit. I mean, they've already got Ben Affleck. He's got gray. They just, dye his hair a little bit, instantly 10 years younger. So I could see that happening. And I wouldn't mind seeing Batman like a little bit earlier Batman stories, especially at least for the first one.
I mean, yeah, well, we know that occasionally Superman does have to go take care of intergalactic matters, and even when he's on Earth, he just goes and chills at his dad's place for like 2 weeks and just doesn't talk to anybody. He's just like meditating or hibernating or whatever he does. But I think you do need a movie that takes place before Man of Steel. My question is, how far before Man of Steel? Because like you said, you can do Just for Men with Ben Affleck, and he's going to look pretty good. But then there's all these other Batman stories, because it appears, and we'll know more about this when we see Dawn of Justice, is Batman, like, how long has that dude been retired?
Right.
Like, how long was he working for? 10 years? Was he working for 5? Was he just retired a couple months ago and then he sees Superman come down? I love Batman stories when he is the big superhero on the block and you're not constantly looking over your shoulder to say, oh, well, where's Superman? Where was Aquaman? Where was Wonder Woman? Where was Green Lantern? Where were all these people when Batman's going through this? It's like, how far back do you go? Because you might need somebody else to play Batman if you go too far back.
All right, what's next?
Austin Davidson writes, hello, Collider crew. I've been watching since the AMC days and make your videos a part of my daily schedule.
Thank you.
What are your thoughts on London Has Fallen? I saw the trailer for it the other day, but never heard you guys mention it. Thanks and bring on the filthy.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Here's the thing. That movie came out, Olympus Has Fallen, right in the same year as that Channing Tatum, Jamie Foxx version of White House Down.
White House Down.
Which was awful. I mean, White House Down was atrocious. It was so bad that I passed on watching Olympus Has Fallen for a bit, because it's just going to be the same nonsense, same garbage. I finally got around to watching it because Ann wanted to see it. Finally got around to watching it. Holy crap, I liked it. I thought it was fun. Was it a smart movie? Hell no. But was it fun? I thought it was I thought Butler was really good in it. And, he hasn't been great in a lot of stuff lately. I thought he was really good in it. I liked seeing Aaron Eckhart as the president. I thought he was a really good president. I like Morgan Freeman he's Morgan Freeman, so he's always freaking awesome. So, and the violence was totally over the top. It reminded me a lot, while nowhere near the same quality, it reminded me a lot of an original Die Hard. Like, it was visceral. It was like with some funny lines, stuff like that. Again, not on the same level of quality as Die Hard, but in that same kind of genre-istic family, if you will. And I really liked it. So I've actually been looking forward to London Has Fallen. I saw the first trailer, didn't blow my socks off, but I liked it. But remember, the trailers for Olympus Has Fallen didn't impress me either. So I had no idea. So saw the trailer, liked it, didn't love it, but it was the same thing with the last movie. I have high hopes for it. I think it's going to be a really good time. Schnepp?
Yeah, I didn't see Olympus Has Fallen. Every time I hear I hear London Calling, I just hear the last song. I'm going to wait till Grandma Has Fallen and Can't Get Up. The third one, I'll see it as a trilogy, yo. I don't know, Zeus is peeing. I haven't seen any of these, so I don't know.
There's less Zeus urination than you might expect.
Really?
In,
All right, well, maybe
Olympus
I'll
Has
see it.
Fallen, but it is a really fun movie, and I'll kind of echo John's sentiments that it's like one of those Die Hard knockoff movies that came out in the early '90s. It's not quite up to speed or even Under Siege caliber, but it's better than like Van Damme's Sudden Death, and I like having fun with those style movies. So I think London Has Fallen is going to be the same thing. The trailer, I was like, it locked me into the same kind of tone. If it gets too ridiculous and too over the top, then you run the risk of being like White House Down, which was just, it started out with an okay idea, and it just became the Naked Gun sequel that we never knew we wanted.
You know what the next film's got to be? I got the pitch for you. So you had Olympus Has Fallen, you got London's Fallen. Next you do Ottawa Is Fallen. So based in the Canadian capital, which contrary to popular belief is not Toronto, the Canadian capital is actually Ottawa. So you got Ottawa Has Fallen, and it's about a minor disagreement that breaks out in Parliament, and they discuss it and work it out over Tim Hortons coffee.
Love it.
That will be
Action-packed, right?
Yes.
But then America sends in missiles anyway, just to make sure. If y'all Canadians just lock your doors at night, you wouldn't have this problem.
I say blow them up!
They don't lock their doors in Canada, guys. If you're watching this in Canada, you can go to your neighbor's house and borrow 5 space bucks or whatever their currency is up there.
Right.
Have fun.
I kid you not, the first time I took Anne to Canada, and we walked up to the ranch, we walked up to my parents' place, and I just grabbed the door handle and opened. She goes, "It's really true? You guys don't lock doors?" Like, none of us lock our doors.
Did you say it's true? All of it.
All of it.
It's true, all of it.
The milk and cookies, everything.
The maple
We're
syrup.
home. For there.
All right, what's next?
DJs writes, "Greetings, Collider Video. Love the show. Been a fan since your AMC movie news days.
Thank
I was
you.
always wondering why so many movies have poor marketing plans. I think that Deadpool has done some of the best marketing in the last 10 years to try and get people interested in the movie. Just want to know what you think about it, because everything that Deadpool has done so far has just made me want to see it more."
Marketing is a strange and funny thing, man. Look, I will jump all over a movie, like whether it's John Carter of Mars or whatever like that, and hammer studios for bad marketing. But that's because they're marketing professionals. I do not underestimate how terribly difficult that job is, because it is a business, yet it is also an art in many ways, because you are trying to emotionally connect with people, whether it's excitement emotion, dramatic emotion, whatever. You're trying to get people hooked on this film. And look, it's the same thing about movies. Like, people say, why didn't they just make a good movie of that? And I say, they wanted to. Believe me when I tell you, they tried. Every time a director gets behind the camera, every time a screenwriter sits down and pens something out, they are trying to write something the best they can. They're trying to commit or create something the best that they can. And I even believe in these horrible marketing campaigns, you've got a creative group of people who are doing their damn best. And look, Mark tells some really bad jokes. I mean, some of his material is awful, but I believe that when he says it, he believes in it, and he's thinking, I crafted this joke, it's gonna kill, and he puts it out there, and it doesn't. Look, I have written some very bad episodes of Movie Talk, but when I wrote it, I thought it was good. I write it, I think this is going to work. This will come across well. This will flow really smooth. It'll be informative and entertaining. And it turns out to be shit. That happens sometimes. And Mark tells 10 times, more funny jokes than he does ones that don't work.
I'm surprised people laugh at any of the crap that comes out of my mouth, to be honest with you. The fact that I'm batting as a 300 means the world to me, guys.
I mean, look how bad The Death of Superman Lives was. But he tried.
I tried.
He tried. But I mean, that's the same thing with these marketing people. They always try, and then it's magic when it. And look, this thing with Deadpool, as we're all sitting around going, why can't more movies just do it like Deadpool? This Deadpool thing is freaking lightning in a bottle. I've never seen anything like it, and how much they have crushed it. And you can't do with Deadpool like with what's something coming out here with The Finest Hours.
Right.
You can't have Chris Pine and Casey Affleck swimming in a pool going, "Oh no, I'm gonna drown!" Like you
Cracking
can't
jokes.
cracking jokes.
Breaking the fourth wall. I'm drowning.
Like you can't do that. So it's a very unique situation of creativity, the subjectivity of it, hitting a home run, while also making sure you're doing it appropriate to the movie that you're trying to market. It is a fine science and art all in one. And while we will crap on people who do a bad job at it, because that's what we do, because we also praise the ones who do great, let's not underestimate how difficult of a job it is. It is nigh impossible. That's why I'm so freaking impressed. Like, I don't mean to oversell Deadpool, but that's why you see me get so freaking impressed and overwhelmed when we see a marketing campaign like this that is being so masterfully executed to get us all on board and talking about. Anyway, Mark, your thoughts on this whole marketing thing?
I mean, look, publicity and marketing are very hard things to do well. It's not an easy job to come on camera and say that I'll be at Uncle Morty's comedy joint Thursday and Friday in Indianapolis this weekend, but I can do it. I can pull it off. You know, some of the other marketing campaigns that this question made me think of the ones that I did like over the years more than the ones I thought were awful. Was Cloverfield had a pretty cool marketing strategy.
Totally.
And District 9 also. And maybe it's easier to do it with superhero science fiction movies than it is just your run-of-the-mill film. The worst marketing campaign I've ever seen, maybe not the worst overall campaign, but the worst billboard I've ever seen in my life was the one for the Robert De Niro, Sylvester Stallone boxing movie Grudge Match, where driving all around Hollywood, you see these billboards, and it just looked like somebody photoshopped their two faces on just two normal dad bodies in a ring, and it never looked realistic, and I'm telling you, I think it hurt the movie.
I agree. I mean, John Carter was another one. Of Mars? No, like, get rid of that. Don't just have him, a red background, and some apes and jumping. That was like, what is it? And it's John Carter. No one knew what it was. Or like, is that
it's a movie about a lawyer from Buffalo.
Yeah, it's really hard. I mean, Deadpool has been crushing it. And you can see my film, The Death of Superman Lives. We'll have it on Showtime. It's on Showtime, ladies and gentlemen. Just look at Showtime, as well as TDOSLWH.com. You can get a digital download. But Deadpool, ladies and gentlemen, that poster is one of my favorites. It's basically double ad campaigning. It's taking something everyone knows about, which is Batman v Superman, and the brand new posters for it, and defacing them with other really amazing things like the Heath Ledger Joker, with Deadpool giving you a little wink. I mean, I think everything that the Deadpool people, whoever they are, including Ryan Reynolds, are just crushing it. Every single thing they do, including that Australia Day one, which I watch at least every other day. I watch it because it makes me laugh when he freaks out with the hat. I mean, every single thing they're doing is masterful, and right down to the mom who's like, my little kid Timmy, who's 8 years old, they should make a PG-13. And Deadpool's response to the mom and the kid goes down in history. I mean, it's literally. Can I say it?
You can say it.
He said,
just be warned. Be warned. Here
comes people who are really easily offended. Mute your stuff. Basically, the mom was like, "Little Timmy wants to see Deadpool. And he can't see it. Please make a PG-13." Wrote a petition with people's names. Had about 2,000. Deadpool cranked in there. He's like, "Listen, Deadpool's going to be rated R, and Timmy, fuck you, and your mom's a whore." That's what a Deadpool's response was. It was incredible.
Holy God, that's...
And you're like, this movie is rated R, and I cannot wait to see it.
You know what? One of the Movie Talk fans tweeted me this morning. I don't know. Do you guys know that Deadpool, apparently Deadpool, his Twitter account, only follows one Twitter account. Do you know who it is?
No.
Oh, yes. My
Hello Kitty.
Yeah, Hello Kitty.
Is the
Oh my
only
gosh, that's
person that they
amazing.
follow. Same thing as Ashley Mova, by the way.
Now here's the thing too. This can be a double-edged sword too, because while on the one hand they're doing such a masterful job with all this marketing and it's getting more people interested in this movie than I ever thought was possible, here's the other side of that coin. It is also raising our expectations a lot. Because before you just told me, hey, they're going to do Deadpool, it's going to be rated R. I'm like, all right, man, that can be fun. I am now, even though I do not choose to do this, when I evaluate my own mindset right now, I'm walking in expecting maybe the funniest film I've seen in the last 5 or 6 years. So while on the good side, it's like, yes, more people interested. On the bad side, though, I am now walking in, because before, if I walked in Deadpool, just give me a little bit of entertainment, a couple of good laughs, some good dirty jokes, and I'll walk out satisfied. That won't cut it for me now, because you've done such a good job of raising my... I'm expecting the comic book movie of the year now. I'm expecting something amazing that I'm going to be talking about my friends with for years. And maybe that's not such a good thing. I think my expectations are
watch
so high.
Wolverine Origins first.
Yes.
Everyone, we should have a group watch it the day before Deadpool. Just watch Wolverine Origins, then go see Deadpool. And we'll be very happy.
And then we'll be so very, very happy. All right, folks. Listen, it is Wednesday, which means it's time for us to talk a little bit about Rewind. This is what I call the Feeling Old segment, where we talk about the films that are celebrating 10-year anniversaries this week and celebrating 20-year anniversaries this week. And here are your films celebrating their 10th anniversary this week. We have the movies Annapolis, Big Mama's House 2, not to be confused with Big Mama's House 1, and Nanny McPhee. Celebrating their 20th anniversaries this week, we have Bed of Roses, the Tom Arnold, Rick Moranis classic Big Bully, and the other movie with the dude from RoboCop, Screamers. So, Schnepp, what do these movies stand out to you?
You know what? Annapolis just has a cool, weird name. Never saw it. I don't know what it sounds science fiction-y. Annapolis, but I know it's not.
Annapolis.
Annapolis. Well, I want to call it Annapolis, then it'd be like Egyptian. Annapolis. But it's not. It's Annapolis. Screamers stands out to me. I love that film. I saw it in the theater. I own it. Unfortunately, I saw Screamers 2 and 3, which you could skip those. But the first Screamers is great. It's basically Peter Weller. It's like this interplanetary war with these different corporations, and they're developing these horrible mechanisms to fight each other. And one of the mechanisms is called a screamer, and it lives underground, and it'll cut you up. It's like a mechanical weird alien geegery kind of worm thing. It's a freaky horror film, and then the screamers learn how to replicate humans. They become sentient, and they begin like building little kids with teddy bears. They scream and explode on you. It's a weird film. It's very weird. It's a good horror science fiction film. I highly recommend it. Screamers.
Mark, what stands out to you?
Big Bully is the one that stands out to me because this is like 1996 was the year of Tom Arnold, and for whatever reason, I remember it vividly because he had Big Bully, he had Carpool, he had The Stupids, and then he also had a really great role in the Hugh Grant movie 9 Months. Now, how did he get all these awesome roles after being in obscurity for a little bit after Roseanne? True Lies.
Greatest action movie ever.
So good in True Lies that every studio was like, "Oh, this guy's so funny. We need to put him in more movies." Now, look, was Big Bully great? Was The Stupids great? No, they were not. But Big Bully is actually kind of watchable. It teaches the kiddies a little bit of a lesson, and to see Rick Moranis and Tom Arnold play off each other, it actually is a treat. So watch that movie. Don't get your expectations up. Don't go in there with Deadpool expectations. But I think you can enjoy that movie. And when I hear Bed of Roses, I literally never think of the Christian Slater movie. I always think of one of the best slow dance songs at my 8th grade dance, Bed of Roses by Bon Jovi.
One of the things that stands out to me for all the wrong reasons. Not Mark's high school prom.
I want to lay you down.
Is Annapolis. Look, if you go on Google and look up almost any list about celebrities that hate each other, look up almost any list, and Annapolis will come up.
Wow,
Apparently,
really?
Tyrese and James Franco completely hate each other. And I guess they had to be separated a number of times on set, if I remember the stories correct. Yeah, like apparently this was like one of those ultimate nightmare situations where I think they even had to stop shooting scenes together and they had to rework things.
Now that you bring that up, I actually remember hearing about that.
Yeah, I swear, if you look up almost any list online of celebrities that hate each other, you're going to find the story of Annapolis. So that's why it stands out to me.
You know how you solve like a celebrity dispute like that on set? You lay them both down in a bed of roses.
That solves so many of the world problems.
That's right. Bed of Roses.
Again, like Campy said, not all the jokes are winners here, kids, but we have fun.
Mark, my sandwich is missing from the fridge. You know what you need to do, John?
Yeah.
Don't say it again, Mark. Don't say it again.
Just
you need to
lay down on a bed of roses. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. There's a couch of roses right here.
This is getting weird.
Everybody wondered, hey, what does Mark do around the office all day? There you go.
Yeah.
He's one of the sprinkles.
It's got a weird,
petals.
a brown, dirty bag filled with old roses. Hey, let's go. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Look at my couch of roses. I got a carpet of roses.
Yeah, I am the Rip Taylor of this office. I just walk around bringing happiness and dead flowers to people.
Rip Taylor.
All right, let's get back to the mailbag questions. So, Ashley, what's next?
Cami writes, hello from Washington, D.C. My question is about adventure films. I feel like you don't see those grand-scale epic adventure films anymore. The Mummy films, Indiana Jones films. What happened? Do they just not make any money like they used to? Are things that were thought of as spectacles back in the day now just the norm? Thanks and keep up the great work.
No, I don't think that's the case. Now, you see the proper adventure genre films. Those have been lacking a lot lately. But what's really been happening is that they're still there. They're just kind of enveloped in other genres as well. So you get the spy genre. So you get, MI5. You get the latest Mission Impossible. That's definitely an adventure film wrapped up in a spy thriller, wrapped up in a, globe-trotting adventure, whatever. that's still there. You look at some of the James Bond movies, they're definitely still adventure. You look at a lot of comic book movies, they're still adventure films. They're just kind of wrapped up in another shell as well. So I think those films are still there. But that does bring up the question, well, where's the pure adventure films like the Indiana Jones and things like that? Where are those movies that aren't wrapped in other genres as well? They're just pure good standalone ones. I don't think those movies are gone and dead. I think you're going to see them reemerge as the genres reshift themselves again, because they're still here. They're just wearing, different clothes at the moment. Mark, what do you think?
I think that what is going to bring back adventure films into the forefront is the advent of good video game movies. Because video game movies, it's such a sprawling adventure that you go on when you play those games. So when you have something, even like Warcraft or Assassin's Creed, that might be more of a political thriller, as would something like Splinter Cell. There's a lot of movies out there. What's the one that Chris Pratt was attached to?
I was just trying to think the name of it.
Yeah.
It's one word. It's
Bed of Roses is what it is. And so when Bed of Roses comes out, it's going to be a great adventure flick. And, when she wrote Adventure, or Cammy, when you wrote adventure movies, the first thing that sprung to my mind as far as fairly recently was The Adventures of Tintin. If you haven't seen The Adventures of Tintin, it didn't do great at the box office, but it's
Uncharted.
the animated version. Uncharted is the other one that's coming out that is probably going to be a good adventure. But Steven Spielberg did Tintin, and it's a really fun adventure movie. It
really
feels
is,
like a logical cousin to Indiana Jones.
Yeah, they've tried that. I'm glad you brought up the video game thing, because Just Cause is another one where you're going to travel all around the world.
That would be a freaky movie.
That's what I'm
Because
saying.
that game is so out there.
It's out there, but I love it, and that's what I think. A lot of the video game adaptations, like Tomb Raider, she traveled all around the world. Agent 47, Hitman, all those movies are trying to emulate the big adventure kind of thing. They're just not doing it. I think we need something like an Indiana Jones, but Sky Captain didn't do it. So remember,
that was so bad.
yeah. So we need something
Sky
that's
Captain, come in.
Kingsman is actually an all around the world adventure film.
Right. Yep.
So,
wrapped in a spy.
Wrapped in
film,
spy.
same thing.
Yeah. So it's there. It's just kind of hidden in other genres right now.
All right, but now before we get to the next question, now's a good time for you guys to send in some Twitter questions. We're going to take a bunch of them live here in just a little bit. How do you send in a Twitter question? It's simple. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Collider Video and just start tweeting in some questions. Ashley will select some out in just a bit, but we got 2 more mailbags to get through first. So what is next?
Wade Aiken writes, now that the parademons and the Omega symbol have made their debut with Darkseid obviously not far behind, do you think we'll be seeing any of the other denizens of Apocalypse, such as Granny Goodness, Kathy Bates, Baron Wunderbar, Steppenwolf, Kalibak, or the Female Furies?
It's fun. We kind of touched on this a little bit on Heroes yesterday. And Granny Goodness, for all you guys who've been like jonesing for some Granny Goodness, don't forget, she actually, a version of her popped up in Smallville.
Right.
If you remember that episode, yes, she did that.
Just like Doomsday's popped up in Smallville. They started
true,
kind of rocking in the New Gods, lesser characters in the last season of, or last 2 seasons.
Was Doomsday also in high school?
yes,
at the same time?
Yes, he was at prom.
Really? He was like the Valley wrestler Nedick from Saved by the Bell?
So I think, I don't know how fast DC is going to be sprinting to get way out there, but the fact that they're clearly bringing in Darkseid, that suggests that it's certainly a definite possibility. Whether they go Granny Goodness or Steppenwolf, stuff like that,
Right.
Who knows? But it's absolutely a possibility. Schnepp, how do
I
you
think
see
you're
it?
definitely going to see, so prepare yourselves from some of these weird names. Desaad, Kalibak, these are the villains, Darkseid's henchmen, and then a ton of parademons. You're probably going to see Mr. Miracle and Big Barda. And they're like, those are characters that are kind of a mix. You'll definitely see Orion. All these characters kind of go back and forth between New Genesis and Apocalypse, which are the New Gods' homeworlds. Basically, Apocalypse is like a gigantic evil hell and Death Star combined. So wait till you check out some of this Jack Kirby goodness, and that they're introducing Darkseid into the Justice League, and he's going to be the big bad. It's just going to be cosmic, amazing adventures all the way through. So it's very exciting.
And what's the leg up that we always talk about that DC has on every other comic book property and every other comic book production facility is the villains. And so why wouldn't they want to introduce as many villains as they can, even into the Justice League? Don't leave it just to Suicide Squad. Let's have fun with all of these characters in a future Justice League movie.
All right, what's next?
Paul McElligott writes, "Hey guys, you were wondering why Disney gave up Ghost in the Shell to Paramount and whether or not it was a trade of some kind. That reminded me that Paramount and Lucasfilm share the Indiana Jones series, and they are discussing doing another movie in that franchise. I think Ghost in the Shell isn't a big enough property to trade for Indiana Jones, but maybe we should be on the lookout for Disney and Paramount deals. What do you say?"
Yeah, we brought up this the other day. What he's referencing is that, Ghost in the Shell, which was going to be a Disney film, has got Scarlet Witch attached.
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson. Scarlet Witch?
Yeah. She's Black Widow.
I kind of crossed the wires there a little bit. You got Scarlett Johansson attached, you got your director attached, and so Disney's dropped it. Paramount immediately picked it up, and we speculated, because there was no official word on this, did Disney just drop it, or was there actually a behind-the-scenes deal where they gave it to Paramount? We might see something going back in return. Indiana Jones is a very, very interesting thing, because while a Ghost in the Shell movie is not worth what an Indiana Jones movie is, remember this: Paramount can't make Indiana Jones movies. There's a weird rights thing tie-up right now between Disney and Paramount, but Paramount cannot just go ahead and make an Indiana Jones film. So that's just kind of sitting on their shelf. Ghost in the Shell could be a big hit. Not only could it be a hit, it's within the realm of possibility. There's a reality here in which it could also spawn off a franchise. You could make a franchise of films out of that. So it could be very valuable. Whereas the Indiana Jones stuff has no value to Paramount right now. So while Indiana Jones as a title has more value than Ghost in the Shell, what's it worth to Paramount? So that could theoretically, remember, we're all talking in hypotheticals here, okay? But if we're going to play that game, theoretically, Paramount's saying to Disney, look, we can't make these movies without you anyway. So how about we give you the full rights to Indiana Jones? You got it all lock, stock, and barrel back. You give us a nice property that has some franchise potential, like a Ghost in the Shell, maybe something else, maybe a ball boy, maybe a little front-end cash too, whatever. Throw that in to sweeten the deal. That is absolutely a deal I could see happening and making sense. Whether that's the reality, who knows? But speculation-wise, seems to make sense to me. What do you think?
We'll try to remember the name Paul McElligott because it sounds very plausible to me. I just have a hard time believing that Disney would give up something like Ghost in the Shell, even if they had a packed schedule in 2017 already. Then they would have just postponed it. Like there had to have been something else involved in that. Whether it's simply a matter of, hey, here's this property you can have, but we get some points on the back end when it does well. Like maybe even something as simple as we get money if this thing does well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that it might not be Indiana Jones, but it might be some kind of trade up like that. It makes sense. I don't think they would just give it up. It makes sense there was some kind of a deal where they're like, look, you can have Ghost in the Shell, give us this and this, because they've gone in a lot of those kind of like, you're distributing, we're producing, or you're producing, we're distributing. And I think Disney now just wants it really clean. Look, it's Disney. We don't want all these extra people hanging out. So that makes sense. I was actually just this morning watching some old Indiana Jones. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was like the young Indiana Jones Chronicles, but it had the older Indiana Jones. They cut him out of all the DVD and Blu-rays.
What?
Yeah.
Every episode kicked off with like a 90-year-old eye patched, right?
Yeah.
Indiana Jones,
Those
and he'd
aren't
like
on the-
always be bothering some random kid at Walmart. Like, hey, did I ever tell you about the time I found the magical belt of Mississippi's? And the kid's like, no, but I guess you have to listen to
They
it.
cut all of those segments out of the young.
Why?
I know. I don't know.
Is it because now Harrison Ford is approaching the age
I have
that
no
the original
idea. Anyone who
old
knows that
Indiana
answer,
Jones-
please write in and tell us, because that was really freaking me out this morning. I was like, wow, there's a lot of episodes of this guy with the eye patch. Like, hey, wait, I'm not done. This one time, I was hanging out. Where are you going? The kids are always like, leave me alone, old man. And then by the end of it, they're all entranced. Tell me more.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, I said we'd save a little bit of time for your Twitter questions, and we're going to do that right now. Once again, make sure you're following us on Twitter at Collider Video, sending in some questions. Ashley, what have you selected for us today?
Eric Johnson writes, given his massive popularity, would you guys love to see an animated Star Wars short featuring BB-8?
Short? Yeah. Yeah, I'd be down for a short, like kind of in the vein of like a Pixar short kind of a
Right.
way. Yeah, that could be fun and cute, because they did a number of like Toy Story shorts after Toy Story 3, and they were very fun, very entertaining. I'd be down for a little, BB-8 goes out for milk,
I think
or
it's
some kind of little adventure.
It's a great idea. At first, I was like, no. And then I thought, you know what? If it was just him and a bunch of other droids with no dialogue except weird sounds and stuff, that could be amazing.
Yeah, it could be a cool like Pixar kind of short like that they run before like a feature film, but don't make it canon.
Like an anthology?
Oh, yeah.
Don't make it. Yeah.
No. Just make it a fun little thing.
We don't want to flirt with, Life Day here. We don't want to get back into Star Wars animated that fastly from 1978.
What's wrong with Life Day?
I'm not.
Have you got something against Kai Shak's most celebrated day in the univerus?
I didn't mean to offend you. If you want, we can go lay down in a bed of roses right after this taping.
All right.
All right, what's next?
Justin Ward writes, what is the difference between a script and a screenplay?
Nothing. Schnepp?
Yeah, screenplay is 127 pages. A script is 123 pages. Nothing.
That's a fair question, though, because the terms are just used interchangeably. Yeah.
Film, movie, same thing.
I think a script is what you say like when you're writing the script, and then when it's done, you present it as your screenplay.
My screenplay.
Screenplay sounds a little more like professional. Like if I had a meeting, and I hate writing, if I had a meeting and I went in and I presented you, oh, here's my script, you might look at it like, oh, who the hell is this? But if you say, here's my finished screenplay, I think it's a better presentation.
Right. Ooh, screenplay. Let me read it immediately. Yeah. Script. Boo. Yeah.
What was that one? What was the Tom Cruise movie where he slides in his socks and underwear?
Risky Business.
Risky Business. It's like, I think it was from Risky Business where his friends asked him, he took her to his car and he boinked her, then he took her back behind the stadium and he banged her. It's like, that's the same thing. It is? Yes. Okay. Anyway, I don't know why that popped up. Risky Business,
call.
ladies and gentlemen. Risky Business. All right, what's next?
All right, Charles Esther writes, do you think we could get The Blacklist movie?
No. It's on TV for like. There are very, 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 very few movies. Actually, I think there's only one TV series right now on television that has a chance of being a successful film. And that's Game of Thrones. There's just somebody can watch The Blacklist on TV, 22 episodes every year for free. Right. Why would they go out to the movie theater and buy it? And if they're not already watching it on TV, why would they then go out to the movie? So I really love The Blacklist. I enjoy that show a lot. I think the Raymond Reddington character on it, played by Ultron, is one of the best characters on TV right now. And I could just listen to that dude talk all day. Right. But do I think it could be a movie? No, I don't.
Nah.
I don't watch Blacklist at all, and now I feel like I'm never going to be able to catch up. So do I really need to invest my time in watching Blacklist, and do I have to watch it from the beginning of the series, or can I just kind of pick it up?
Binge watch it. Watch from the beginning of the series. And who cares? You don't have to catch up in 3 weeks. Take 3 months to catch up. I think you'd enjoy it.
Okay.
I recommend to everybody too. Its first episode is dynamite. Starts off great. It's not one of these shows that, it sucks for the first 8 or 9 episodes, but then you get into it. It's like, why do I want to spend 8 hours getting into it? It's one of those shows that starts with a bang and then just keeps going.
What about your boy Hannibal? Like, I know the TV show got canceled, but could you bring back maybe Mads Mikkelsen as that character if somebody wrote a script/screenplay that was good enough, they could make a movie with that guy as Hannibal, right?
Well, yeah, Brian Fuller's already stated that they want to do a standalone movie for Hannibal, which would be the 4th season. So for myself, I love the Hannibal series. If you haven't checked it out, it's incredible.
A lot of fun.
Super disappointed that it didn't make it to the 4th season, but if they do make it, it'll be kind of like a new adaptation of Silence of the Lambs. So hopefully they do a mini series and do 3 2-hour movies. I would love to see that.
That would probably pop up on a Crackle or a Hulu
something like
something,
that. I would love to see that. They need time to tell that story.
All right, what's next?
Ragtag64 writes, why do digital movie rentals cost more now than, say, Blockbuster did back in the day? Seems they would be cheaper.
You'd think, because they don't have to print the case, they don't have to ship product, all like that. But I mean, look, they want to make their money. And look, you're also paying. I don't have a problem with that. I honestly, I don't mind renting $4.99 for a movie or whatever, because look at the convenience. Back in the day too, you also had to go get you had to leave the house. You had to put on your pants.
Oh, gross.
Who wants to do that? You had to go down to the video store, then you got to fight with the girlfriend for 30 minutes.
You have what about these 3 movies? Now I have these 3. Oh,
yeah, you're working through all that. Now you sit at home. I want to see that. Hit the button, play. To me, it's totally worth it. They have a nicer profit margin, but not as many people get home movies today as they used to. But so they have a nice profit margin, and they deserve it. There's a convenience to that too. I have no problem with it.
It's a before and after thing too, because before you actually are able to rent the movie back in the day, my town was too small to have a Blockbuster, so we had Video Update, which I loved to death. Tried to work there. They didn't see fit, but I would go there every week, and I would try to rent like either Bram Stoker's Dracula was one, Jurassic Park was another one, where the damn movie was never in stock because like it wasn't a Blockbuster where they can guarantee it. They had like 5 copies of Independence Day, so there's a line around the block for 5 copies of a movie. Now you know you're going to be able to get the movie when you want it, and you don't have to take it back to the store afterwards. And if you get it on iTunes anyway, if you rent a movie on iTunes, you have up to 30 days to watch it. Now once you start watching it, it's gone in 24 hours. But if you rent a movie and then you decide, you know, I think I'd rather sleep on this plane and then I'll watch it the next time I have a flight or something like that, you can do that and you don't get charged like $100 in late fees.
Right, no late fees. And Video Update, you're out of business is gone. And look at Mark Ellis, he's sitting here talking about you. What's up, son? That's also the other thing. Time is
I like
time
them
is,
apples.
That's right. Time is ruthless and it's crushing. Blockbuster is just an empty like chicken roost now. There's
Hey, all you
nothing there.
girls who turned down Mark Ellis like
That's right.
all the time
Because he wasn't working
now
at Video
look at
Update.
him.
I'm
They're
sure
like-
they're still pretty confident in their decision to
That's
turn
true.
me down.
I mean, the video late fees alone are
That
worth
used to
just,
kill me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It used to kill me.
$60 for this. It's because you didn't bring it back last week, sir. It was incredibly expensive, like $7 or $8 a day. So.
Remember, you had to rewind it, or else
Oh,
they,
yeah.
you know,
Dollar
Yeah,
charge.
because this is so hard. Taking a movie back, putting it into a rewind machine, because that's worth $1. Come on.
I had
Video
this roommate Jamal who used to live with us, and we had this house. A couple of buddies, we all lived in this house together. And I can't remember if it was an N64 or whatever, but one of our it was either Jamal or Tran went and rented. Tell me if you guys remember this game. It's an old game, but do you remember the game Rampart? We're like building walls and stuff like that. Anyway, my buddy rented that game Rampart and had it for a year. When he took it, I remember the next 4 months of his life after he finally got around to returning it was about arranging his finances just to pay the late fee on that one stupid game that he could have bought 20 times over for what he had to pay in
Now,
late fees for it.
what year was it when he took the game back?
Oh, okay. That would
because
be
if you think about it, like if you had done that in like 2002, 2003, when those the video-based companies were starting to crumble, you could just wait them out.
99.
It's a long time to be waiting.
Yeah. That's when he took it back.
They're like
with me.
student loan collectors, man. They're
Ooh,
ruthless.
yeah.
All right, what's next?
Ryan Snelling writes, can any of you guys make sense of Joseph Fiennes playing Michael Jackson in a 9/11 road trip movie?
I have no idea what we're
Joseph
talking about.
Fiennes.
Oh, Joseph
Fiennes.
Fiennes.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Joseph
Joseph
Fiennes.
Fiennes.
Joseph
So he's
Fiennes.
playing Michael Jackson.
Who's Josephine, and why does she have a last name?
Hey, you know what? You know what's astonishing to me? It was really when I read that, my instant thought was Oscars. All this debate about diversity, and you're casting a white dude to play Michael Jackson. It's really weird to me. I think it's like I have nothing to say about Ralph Fiennes as an actor. I think he's great.
Joseph Fiennes.
Joseph Fiennes,
Yeah,
sorry,
Josephine.
Joseph Fiennes. He's also. I mean, Rafe Fiennes, Joseph Fiennes. They're both great. The casting is really weird to me, and I just instantly thought that my mind just instantly went to, why aren't they looking for a really great black actor to play Michael Jackson?
I think it's because it's out there. Like, remember when Cate Blanchett was cast to play Bob Dylan?
Sure. No, I
Like, so
remember
it's something like just that's weird and different and odd. So, I mean, it depends on what they're doing with the whole movie. Because
Right,
I
we have
haven't
to wait.
seen anything.
We have to wait and see. You're right. It could be something way off kilter, like
Yeah.
oh, we're doing it for this reason. But I'm just saying, my instant reaction was especially because this is in the news right now. It's like it was very weird.
Right, but also Cate Blanchett played Bob Dylan in a movie that had 5 other people also
Played Bob,
playing Bob
right.
Dylan at various.
Right.
So if Joseph Fiennes is playing like a later in life Michael Jackson, it might make sense if you're playing off another version of Michael Jackson who
Sure.
you would cast when you were younger. But then you're like, well, why didn't the news of whoever actor is playing young Michael Jackson come out? Maybe he's not famous. Maybe just the way it was reported when the news came out. I believe at Sundance was just that this is the most famous person that's going to be in this Michael Jackson movie. So that's what you can fit in your tweet.
It
But
reminds me of that joke in Hot Tub Time Machine. Craig Robinson, where he's trying to figure out what year he is in. He grabs some girl. Quick, what color is Michael Jackson? She goes, black. Ah!
Yeah.
Craig Robinson freaks out. Yeah. All right, what's next?
Mr. Nine writes, do you think that Chucky Child's Play can ever work again as a serious horror movie?
Nope. They even tried they tried to do it recently, I think 2 years ago, and they couldn't get a distributor to even bother to pick it up, so it went in straight to home video, and it didn't even do that great on straight to home video. So maybe in 15 years there'll be a big nostalgia push for something like that, but in the immediate future, I can't see anybody spending money on
The
it.
only way I could see Chucky working right now, and I'd love to see this, is like a big monster party where you have Leatherface, Chucky, Freddy, Michael Myers. They're all hanging out. It's like you make a comedy horror film out of it.
if you make it like Wreck-It Ralph for horror movie
Yeah.
villains where everybody just shows up. Because like if there's any alumni party for monster movies, Chucky gets an invite.
Yes.
Like
Sure,
he gets
yes.
a +1 to that. But there's all these other. If you're trying to make a serious horror movie based on a doll, like they did that with Annabelle, and they probably, while Annabelle wasn't a great film, they probably had better results with Annabelle than they did with Chucky, who is just such a known property, and it does have that comedic tone, whether you want to or not. Just everybody has the preconceived notions of what a Chucky movie is going to be. So I agree, it's going to take a long time before you can get it back to serious horror movies.
Plus, you got The Boy, which is another like, hey, don't feed him, kind of weird. Like, is it alive? You know, it's going to be running around at the end of the movie. I didn't see The Boy, but
I was going to say, is that what that's about?
Spoiler!
I didn't see it. I'm guessing. I don't know if it's real, but I bet you he's chasing that Walking Dead chick at the end, and she throws him into the fireplace and burn. That's what I want to see happen. But I don't know. Chucky, I want to see him.
That's actually what happens in the movie now.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be weird.
No, it's just so easy.
Called it.
She better
All
burn.
right, what's next?
Wade Wilson writes, which is going to be funnier, Deadpool or Zoolander?
Well, we know which one Wade Wilson's rooting for.
I gotta say Deadpool.
I'm gonna guess Deadpool right now because we just don't know. Like, if you were to tell me right now, hey, Zoolander 2 will be as funny to me as the first Zoolander was, then I would say I think Zoolander 2 is gonna be funnier. But it's been a lot of years, man, since they've done that first Zoolander. I don't know. I've liked the trailers I've seen for Zoolander 2. I'm excited to see it. Looks funny. But right now, Deadpool looks funnier to me, so I'm going to go with Deadpool.
It's really a question. This is a great question, Wade, if that is your real name. It's because Deadpool is trying to do many things in that movie, one of which is make you laugh hysterically. Zoolander 2, the only reason it's in existence, obviously both of these movies want to make money, but the only reason you make Zoolander 2 is if you think you can make people laugh hysterically the entire running time. So I'm going to say Zoolander 2 has more laughs in it. Now, will those laughs keep up with repeat viewings? Will they be the movie that replaces the first Zoolander as the movie that makes John Campea laugh himself to sleep every night? We don't know that yet. But I think on first view, I think Zoolander 2 is going to be a little bit funnier than Deadpool.
Ashley, let's throw it to you. So
I don't know.
the February 12th comes. Which one do you think is going to be funnier?
Oh, I don't know. I was trying to think of it when I read this question. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with, oh my gosh, the pressure, Zoolander. I'm going to go with Zoolander. I'm going to go against the grain just because, I don't know. I've been waiting to see these characters come back for a while, and my expectations are high now. I think I'm going to go with Zoolander.
As soon as we saw Benedict Cumberbatch go, all is all, I was like,
And
okay,
Kristen
okay.
Wiig is in it. I freaking
know.
love
Yeah.
Kristen
Yeah, Will
Wiig.
Ferrell back as Mugatu. Like, there's more funny people that you cast in that movie than you do in and T.J. Miller's great, and so is Ryan Reynolds. But I'm just not sure that they have like the backup. Like you need good bench players if you're going to have a great comedy for 2 hours. And I think Zoolander 2 has more of those than Deadpool will.
Well, also, Zoolander has like familiarity going for it because
Yeah.
we know all of these names of these characters, and for Deadpool, it's all brand new to most people.
To most people, yeah. All right, let's take the last question of the day.
All right. Pacho Gibsovu writes, what do you think are the best working siblings in Hollywood? Greetings from Bulgaria.
Best
Pacho, that's a good question.
working
siblings.
Okay, I got mine. I got my answer.
You're gonna say
And-
the Gyllenhaals.
Don't say
Yes,
Hemsworths.
I was going to set the bar with. I'm not gonna, you think I want Campy to punch me? No. I'm going to set the bar at Gyllenhaal's
Right.
and then say if anybody can come close to that or even beat
Ben
it.
Affleck, Casey Affleck. Bam, son!
hell
I just
yes.
crushed you, son. Ah.
Okay, but
kind of
Coen brothers. I mean, so they're
Russo brothers.
Russo brothers
We're
now.
not before behind and in front of the camera. We're rocking it. Who else?
Well, you already said the Hemsworths.
Yeah,
we said
well.
the Gyllenhaals. Oh, what about speaking of Zoolander, the Wilsons, Luke and Owen.
Totally.
But I wouldn't put them up there.
No.
I wouldn't put them up there. I think you win the prize. I think, especially after seeing, I talked about it yesterday. After seeing The Finest Hours, Casey Affleck, man, amazing.
Right. He's a
Yes.
great actor. He's come into his own.
But if you see a movie called Harlem Nights, you will see Charlie Murphy and Eddie Murphy working together. Thank you. Good
The
night.
Murphys.
Nothing?
All right, folks. See, I told you. Every once in a while, he throws it out there. Thought it was going to be
That
great.
That was totally serious. Eddie Murphy's one of my favorite actors
That's just
ever.
a simple statement. That was funny. That was funny, though. Charlie Murphy. I love him. In Chappelle Show, Charlie Murphy kills
He's
it.
good at Chappelle Show. All right, that'll do it for us, folks, for this installment of Collider Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, don't forget, lots of great films are playing out our friends over at AMC Theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all of your theater, showtime, and, of course, your movie ticket information. Make sure you book bookmark our website, collider.com. Make sure that's a website you visit every day, keeping up to date by the minute on everything going on in the world of movies and television. And make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Click that subscribe button. Share this video on Twitter and on Facebook. Become an evangelist for our show. I want to thank the people sitting at the table with me. First of all, sitting over here on my left, the guy with 7 maids, Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
Hey, look, I'm all about viral marketing, just like Deadpool, yo. So follow me on Twitter and Instagram, just at John Schnepp. Get my film, The Death of Superman Lives What Happened, by going to tdoslwh.com and support independent film.
The man who speaks and cries out in the middle of the night, screw you, family video time, or whatever the name of that
Video
shop
update.
was. Video update, screw you.
I like
Mr.
family video time. I want to start a little corner market that sells just junkie juice and weird M&Ms that are open.
Video
It says
time.
family video time, like a weird frazzled dude with garbage cans and stuff like, come into my store.
Yeah, family
It's
video
family
time
video
is definitely
time.
an Astro van that somebody rented and painted. Family, hey, you kids like Milo and Otis? Come on in.
Hey.
Mark Ellis, ladies and gentlemen. Mark, where can people find
You
you?
can find me not working at Video Update unless we want to get in a bed of roses together. You can find me on Twitter at Mark Ellis Live. This Friday and Thursday and Friday only, I'm at Uncle Morty's Comedy Joint in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh, you're going to Indianapolis this
Going
week.
to Indianapolis.
That's
What should I
awesome.
do there?
There's a lot of fun stuff.
I'm not going to say
I will
what I was
recommend you
thinking.
to an amazing restaurant.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can't tell you about it right
Pizza
now.
Hut?
I can't remember it. It's not called family video time.
So good, I can't remember it. Sitting on the end, the woman with an itchy trigger finger. That goes back to before the show
I was
started.
like,
Miss
what
Ashley
are you
Mova. Ashley, where
talking
can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Ashley Mova. Happy Wednesday, guys.
And of course, you can find me on the various social media channels. Follow me on Facebook and on Twitter, simply at John Campia. That'll do it for us, guys. Thanks so much for joining us for Collider Video. And until next time, bye-bye.
Hey guys, if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll help you stay up to date with everything we've got going on here at Collider.